So let's talk about exclusives. And I'm not talking about exclusive pre-order bonuses or special editions. We're talking about a couple of actual physical games that you can only get at GameStop and nowhere else.
Exclusive. Yeah. Okay, if you're a racing fan, then you definitely need to play Moto GP17. This is the officially licensed game for the 2017 MotoGP, Moto2, and Moto3 season from the iconic Italian developer team Milestone SRL. Over the last 20 years, they've developed nearly 50 racing games, and they've brought all of that experience to the 2017 MotoGP, Moto2, and Moto3 season, including almost 200 current and historical riders and more than 60 modern and classic bikes. There are also new modes, enhanced visuals, and updates to both rider and bike customizations, handling, and physics.
In 1997, the legendary publisher Acclaim released a city-building game for PC that was a little different than most of the other city-building games at the time. It was called Constructor, and it put players in control of a construction company, with the goal of driving other players out of business by any means necessary. Now, 20 years later, Constructor is back, and it's better than ever in HD. Using teams of workers, you'll construct facilities to manufacture building materials, then use them to build houses. You'll then rent out your houses to generate revenue for your company, and then continue building bigger and better houses and structures. Now, that all seems pretty standard, right? Well, what makes Constructor a little different is that you can choose to enlist the help of undesirables, gangsters, hippies, and more, all of whom will work to undermine your enemies and put them out of business. This is where construction meets corruption.
Yeah, I'm digging that groovy little scene
Yeah, it's
music
kind of
there.
like, you know, the poppy
I
little
like that.
pop and lock.
All right, so we're going to change gears just a little. Actually, we're going to change gears entirely.
Oh, okay.
Now that I talk about it. Yeah. Okay. This is Bears versus Babies, and it's a brand new monster building card game from the creators of the popular game Exploding Kittens. Let's actually let's pitch it over to Erik to give you a little bit closer of a look at this hilarious, strategic, and furry party game.
Hey, thanks, Christian and Marisha. Yes, you are correct. Today, I am taking a look at Bears versus Babies, and things are about to get weird. From the creators of the popular game Exploding Kittens, this is Bears versus Babies. Let's go ahead and open up the box and see what's inside. All right, I'm going to take off this slip cover. Just says Bears versus Babies and bearsversusbabies.com there. You can go to the website if you want to check out more details. Bears versus Babies on the front. And then on the back here, there's a little bit of an explanation about the creators, Matthew Inman, one of the guys that works on the Oatmeal. If you've never gone to that site and seen some of the funny stuff they do, you should check it out. There's a couple of the monsters that you might be able to start building. You can clearly see the box is furry, like a bear. And I'll tell you, Bears versus Babies is a somewhat accurate name because you're not just building bears, you're building all kinds of crazy monsters to fight all kinds of crazy, evil, horrible babies. Let's see what's inside the box. Take off the cover there, you can see we've got Bears versus Babies on the side, and inside, first thing that I'll see, let me move this out of the way. All right, the first thing here is the playmat. You can see there are several different sections. Right here, this is the discard pile. In the middle here, you've got the places where the different types of baby cards will sit. And you can see there are 3 different types of babies. You've got land babies, sea babies, and sky babies. That will all make sense in a little while when I show you the different types of monster cards. And then over here, you've got the draw piles. That's where the cards sit. Across the bottom, it gives you a little bit of an explanation. Each time a player takes a turn, they can take a few different actions, and that gives you some idea of the types of actions you can take. So I'll set that down. The next thing in the box here is the official rulebook. Now there's a few important things on the front that we should note. This game is for 2 to 5 players. It's meant for ages 10 plus, and it says right here, do not read the rules. Why does it say that? Well, I mean, technically you need to know the rules, but it says watching videos is cooler than reading rule books, and I have to agree, watching videos is much better. You can go to bearsversusbabies.com, watch a really cool in-depth instructional video, but you want to keep this on hand so that while you're playing, if any questions come up, you can always refer back to it. Next thing in here is an FAQ guide. And I'll tell you, this FAQ guide is very important because even if you've watched the video, even if you've read the instruction manual, there are cards and elements of this game that are not covered, so you're going to need this. You'll need to read the book, watch the video, check out that FAQ guide as well. Okay, the last thing in the box are the cards. Now, they come in 2 separate decks, which you need to shuffle together, and we've already done that. There are actually 107 cards total in this box. All right, that's everything in the box. Now, let's get a little bit deeper into how to set up and play the game. Here's how the game starts. Every player is dealt 5 cards. Now, on those cards are either parts of monsters that you can use to build your monsters and fight babies, or actual babies that you'll be battling. If you have baby cards when they're dealt to you, you need to place them face down on the corresponding block and pick up new cards so that you've got all monster pieces. You can't have babies in your hand because they are the enemy. After this point, you'll go ahead and take turns by each person in the party taking actions. The amount of people playing determines the number of actions anywhere from 2 to 4. And actions are things like either playing your monster card pieces so that you can start building out your monsters, or drawing cards. If you draw a card with a baby, it needs to be placed face down on the corresponding block, and then you've essentially lost that turn. Another action you can take is to provoke one of the baby armies. What that means is you will flip over one of the armies, like the Sea Baby army, add up all of the points on those baby cards, and that determines the strength of that baby army. Next, all of the players that have sea monsters down on the table will fight those babies. If the sea monsters have enough points with the different pieces you put together, head, arms, body, legs, then the strongest monster of that type defeats the babies, gets to keep the cards, and then all of the sea monsters that fought are discarded. You keep going like that until all of the babies are defeated, all the points are earned, and the person with the most points wins. Now, of course, I'm oversimplifying this. I just gave you the very high level instructions of how to play because there's so much more to the game. There's a lot of cool cards in that deck that we weren't able to show you, and some cool dynamics at play that you'll have to discover when you play through with your friends. But it's definitely a great time for parties, hanging out with up to 5 people. If you'd like to pick this up, you can do so while supplies last at your local GameStop store, on GameStop.com, or through the GameStop app. All right, Chris and Marisha, back to you.
Man, that looks great. I can't wait to play that at my next party.
Yeah, and I hear they have an expansion that's like a not safe for work version.
Yeah, I think I actually have.
Is that what you have?
These here.
Don't show the camera. Don't show the camera.
Yeah. Okay. When we come back, we'll put these here. It's Mario, and more Mario. So stick around.
Are you blushing?